big game coming up tomorrow. Make no mistake, because of all these chasing teams, the team in fourth place and the team just below them, Punjab, who have done so well. 4 on the trot. Can they make it 5 in a row? And it's coming from Sharjah. We're still not certain about Andre Russell being Sharjah. He'd love to be in there. We know that Punjab have a few hitters, one guy by the name of Christopher Henry Gale. So what a battle that could be potentially, folks. Russell versus Gale, Sean.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know how he fits in to Dre Russ from the last Kolkata performance. How do you get him? Because he hasn't really played lights out, has he? I mean, he's been a little bit of a disappointment, to be totally honest. But I suppose what the value he brings with both bat and ball would probably mean they'll try and find a place. But the universal boss has been the dominator. Since he's been in that Punjab team, it's been a change in fortunes. And he'll absolutely love the thought of going to battle on that small ground. If he gets going, he can single-handedly win the game. So, yeah, there's some big players, and at this stage of the tournament, you want them to come good, and Cramps, he's one of those boys who can do it.
Look at those 5 losses between the 27th of September and the 10th of October. They were on 2 points from just that one Bangalore win on the 24th of September, and that's why we had pretty much ruled them out. And we were saying 7 teams, Chennai not looking that great. Okay, maybe 6 teams. And suddenly, win. Chris Gale in the side. They're looking a different unit, Lisa.
They are. And we've also got to remember Nicholas Puran as well. He has looked superb. And KL Rahul, he scoring runs for fun. I'm not sure if we'll see Mayank Agarwal, obviously the ankle. So I reckon they may rest him. But it's a tough one because they're both coming off 2 very different wins. Obviously, one from Punjab, the fact that they were able to defend 120 odd runs, whereas KKR beating Delhi Capitals quite convincingly. So they'll both be full of confidence. I don't know. I've got a bit of a fairy tale story kind of with Kings 11 Punjab, given the fact that we looked at how poorly they started. I'm kind of rooting for the underdog in that sense. I think I'd love to see those guys at least get up into the final stage.
Yeah, we remember that one final that they did have. Well, won't talk about that anymore. That was 2014. But let's have a look at their squad, because at one point they had the top 2 run scorers in the tournament, and we were saying, but why have they got just 2 points? Because nobody else was scoring. Now, even with Mayank Agarwal's ankle looking a little dodgy, they've got contributions from Puran, Maxwell starting to do something, Gale's come into the side, Jordan bowled beautifully the other day. Do you see any changes other than maybe they're trying to force Mayank Agarwal back if he's fit?
I don't know, Gautam, you're saying Maxwell's starting to do something? I'm waiting to see him do something, first of all. I think he's been pretty disappointed, to be totally honest. So do they hold the nerve? Do they say, we'll stick with you for a couple more games and you repay us with a couple of good knocks that get us into the playoffs? Do they decide to maybe make a change and go to Neesham as the option just to strengthen their bowling lineup? Because that might be what you need at a Sharjah ground. But after that win, I don't know, maybe if Mayank's fit, obviously you throw him back into the mix. That's an absolute no-brainer. But besides that, maybe just try and hold your nerve and say, well, let's not change too much. We had a bit of a good thing going and see if we can repeat.
I'm glad Sean pointed that out, because in my mind, I'm just thinking of them winning 4 games. I'm thinking of Maxwell bowling 4 overs, and I'm going, okay, maybe he's done enough. But he's got a good point. What he's there for, he has not actually been doing, Lisa.
No, he hasn't. I think they've found ways for him to contribute. And obviously the last game, none for 28 off 4. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's a stat out there. The last time Maxwell scored a 50 in the IPL, was that 2016?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So that's a massive concern. Yeah, he's there as an all-rounder, more as a batting all-rounder, if anything. He can bowl 2 overs, 1 over if needed. So, very disappointing for him. He has to score runs. Otherwise, I think you do have to change. But the thing is, if you're winning, you're willing to carry a team member, aren't you? And that's always happened. So, I don't think they'll change the side. If anything, they'll change it to get Mayank in, but I don't think he'll be fit enough.
let's look at Kolkata and see where they stand at the moment, because they've just played a game. It's not been too long ago. Magic from Varun Chakravarti. They don't want to get influenced by that, because they're not going to get that kind of a performance every single day. And I'm wondering, Sharjah, are they going to pick that up for him? Any possible changes, or have they settled down, even minus Dre Russ?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you go Dre Russ, who in place of? Lockie Ferguson's been a revelation in his few games that he's played. I mean, he won the game single-handedly for them just 2 games back. Pat Cummins was brilliant in his first spell the other day. Nareen came in and did what Andre Russell's done for so many years for the team. And Owen Morgan's the captain, so you can't drop him. It would be a big call, I suppose. I mean, I can't see them replacing Nareen or Cummins because what do they do? It would be a massive call to say, listen, Lockie, you miss out because maybe we want to strengthen our batting. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be the one making that decision.
Yeah, I suppose if he stands up and says, look, I'm fit, raring to go, he gives you balls that heavy ball, and maybe you just have to sacrifice Lockie Ferguson and say, we've get the extra runs hope to get the extra runs from the big man.
Yeah, that's the disappointment, I think, with some of the guys. When you go into the auction, you buy a Stokes, who's going to bowl for you. You buy a Russell, who's going to bowl for you. You buy a Hardik Pandya, who's going to bowl for you. I mean, they go for the big bucks because they bring the big balance to a team. And unfortunately for these teams, you feel for the coaches, the management, the selectors, because some of them can't do both parts of their roles. And it does throw your balance out massively.
To be fair, Lisa, Russell, despite not having performed with the bat, if there's any performances you do remember, it's those wickets that he's taken at crucial times. It's those 2 overs for 14, 15 runs that he's bowled at crucial times.
Yeah, and he bowls it at the back end. And you're right, he bowls back of a length, cross-seam deliveries, cutters on pitches that are starting to just get the ball to hold up. So he has been effective from that point of view. But again, it's like looking at Maxwell. Why are people so excited about Andre Russell? It isn't necessarily his bowling, it's his batting and what he was able to do. The thing was that he showed us what he could do, and he just hasn't been able to emulate that at all this year. I don't think he changed the side. As much as he's a great player, and history would show that he's a great player, he's out of form at the moment. So you've got to sometimes go, you know what, we're okay with you sitting on the bench for now. We seem to be humming. We seem to be going along well. People know their roles. Shubman Gill would probably be the only one that I'd question. He just probably needs to up his intent in the power play. I'm glad that Nitish Rana, when he got the chance, so now he's opened twice and he scored half centuries, but Shubman Gill needs to be able to now go on with his innings a bit more. He's got a lot of opportunities, a lot of 20s and 30s, but he has to start kind of repaying the faith in the selectors.
Yeah, I think that's well summed up by Lisa Salekar there. A huge boost to Kolkata for having Nitish Rana back in form.